In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still back.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and sitting across from me is the one, the only, Cash Krause.
Cash Krause, you're getting better at that pause shit.
Thank you.
You're getting real good. Maybe using it a little too much now.
Well,
now,
you know what?
Now you're wielding that weapon a little too freely.
Look, anytime I can use the dramatic pause, I will use it.
It's smart. It's a smart ploy. We've watched a lot of films.
We have. We've watched a lot of films over the years, Cash.
And the dramatic pause is...
It works. It's effective. It's almost
in
100%.
every one of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But today we are gathered.
We are gathered.
Here for another blissful Namaste.
Wednesday, yes, absolutely.
And the people have talked.
They have talked. They've talked quite a bit.
People have spoken.
Yep.
They've told us what we review next, and we have to do what the people want.
And they did not tell us. They demanded it.
They did demand it.
They said, look, we're going to come after your livelihood. We are
Could
going
be
to destroy
nicer about it.
Get a little nicer about it. But hey, nonetheless, we had, in all seriousness.
Suggestions, not threats.
Yeah, we threats, we typically stay away from. Suggestions, we will oblige.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, we got over 1,000 votes this time in our poll. And what decisively won, 55% of the votes, The Lunchbox.
Yes, which is...
starring Irfan Khan and Nawazuddin Siddiqui.
So sad, because it's probably the first movie I've seen of Irfan Khan since...
his passing.
Although I think I did go back and watch Life of Pi, one of my favorite movies of all time. We have... someday we will do that.
We'll review it.
It's so damn good. But, yeah, he's just the greatest narrator.
He is.
His voice is amazing.
Yeah. And every time I see him on screen, like, legitimately, I get a little sad because I'm like, this guy is like a really good actor. And it's so sad that he died so young.
Yes, but there's a few good actors in this film.
There are.
Crazy.
Does Nawazuddin look pretty young to you in this? And I know he's supposed to be because he's like the intern learning how to be an accountant.
As much as it's the character he's playing is very. Yeah. We're not used to the character that Nawazuddin is used to playing. He seems like his skin's glowing. He seems young and vibrant. I just think that's being around Irfan Khan.
Probably.
It just really brings
out the best in you.
It does. You know, maybe you're in a bad mood, bad day. You come into set. How do you not smile? Irfan Khan, he comes, lays down that silky smooth voice.
Yeah.
What a voice.
My
God.
And luckily for Nawazuddin, in this role, too, he plays a normal person. He doesn't play a Raman Raghav or a Sacred Games where it's like,
that's what threw me off.
Uh-huh.
Was that he was so normal.
Nice and bubbly.
Very nice, but...
or doesn't play in Gangs of Wasseypur either, you know.
Yeah, he's not a complete psychopath. He's just the thing
he's
that we're
normal accountant guy learning the ropes of the job.
Not even a good accountant.
No,
not even a good. But
questionable.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we will.
First, we got to talk about the poll.
Yes, the poll.
So we have to obviously take off Lunchbox.
Yep.
But we are adding on. So what is on the poll right now, besides Lunchbox?
So we have Aligar.
Yes. Barfi,
and then Badla.
Mm-hmm. And now we are adding on a new Anurag Kashyap film, Choked. The movie about the money and the pipes.
Yeah.
So that is the newest one on our poll. Because
we said it from the start. We have to put it on Anurag Kashyap.
It's been a while. We usually either have to have a what's the other director that we named?
LJP.
Yeah, we used to have to either have an LJP, for some reason I always forget that, or Anurag Kashyap on there. Or a
Nawazuddin Siddiqui
or a Raj
Kumar. Yeah,
for the last 9 weeks we've had a Raj Kumar Rael film.
That is got to be the. We used to say Singham. What Ajay Devine used to be the hardest worker, but I think it might be Raj Kumar Rael.
Yeah, it might be.
This dude's in every film.
He's in a lot of films.
A great actor. He's hilarious in his comedic roles. He's great in his serious roles. But man, hardest working guy in the industry.
Yeah, just go home with your family,
See enjoy life. I'm sure you're making enough money to just take a week off a year.
Spend one day with your daughter. Just you're being a Tom Cruise right now.
Right, at this point.
You're being selfish.
So involved in his work. But when you're that good, it's hard not to want to work every day of your life.
But you got to have some kind of outside life outside of work.
Of, playing other people.
It's unhealthy at one point. All right, so the poll is, as it stands, adding choked, Barfi, Aligar, Badla.
There we go. Now we're on the same track.
But that is it.
Choked. Yep.
It will be on there as soon as this comes out, so go and vote. What do you think's winning this week?
If I'm being honest, I think Aligar is going to win this week.
Really? Yep. People have been wanting us to review Aligar.
I think Aligar is going to win.
I think it's
either
possible.
that or Barfi. Barfi might win, but I'm going to go with Aligar. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say Aligar is going to win.
Yeah, Barfi was second place.
It was. A lot of people wanted us to see Barfi.
A lot of people wanted to see Barfi.
I remember reacting to that trailer and being like, okay, I got to be honest, this film doesn't look that great. This trailer kind of sucked. And then someone commented, obviously a while back when we reacted to it, said, that was a fan-made trailer, idiots. So I was like, that makes sense.
For always,
you remember that?
We will never live that down. Barfi is the fan-made trailer. We have to always remember that.
Indian cinema films where they say, this is the trailer, they get us every time because it looks like legit. Yeah. And then it's some fan-made trailer. So, we got to be really careful when we look into it and be like, okay, is this T-series? Is this,
yeah. Usually
Phantom
it's
films,
from the production
good,
film. But not every
productions.
production film has a YouTube channel. So it does get tough.
So it makes it a little difficult.
It does get tough at times.
Especially when you're dealing with Tamil or Malayalam films. So.
Which is crazy because in the U.S. you can always tell a fan-made trailer.
Absolutely.
Always tell. But
it's a little harder in India.
But sometimes in India, their trailers are a little looser.
They are.
So you really, there's a lot of quick edits going on. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't look as professional. Sometimes they're really good. Yeah. But sometimes
they're awful.
A regular trailer looks like a fan-made trailer.
We got duped.
Which I think it is just a fan coming in and cutting
random things. Well, we got duped in the Laxmi bomb, remember?
Yes, Laxmi bomb.
We were like, what the fuck is this movie about? Because they did the old shots, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and then we ended up watching the real one.
We've been burnt.
We have been burnt before. But it makes for a good laugh for people in India. So.
Yeah. All right, so go vote right now.
Right now, yep. It should be up.
Yep. And let's get into the Lunchbox.
Let's do it.
Again, starring Irfan Khan, Nawazuddin Siddiqui. How do you get these two powerhouses on the screen together?
I don't know. You have to sacrifice a child in order to get two incredible stars together.
You do.
You must give a sacrifice.
Although this was 2013.
It was.
So maybe Nawazuddin not at the very top yet.
Maybe not.
Irfan Khan
absolutely
still the guy.
Top. Yeah. Irfan Khan was the guy.
Yeah.
Even
because I think Life of Pi came out in 2012. So Irfan Khan's coming out hot. Yeah, very hot. Maybe 2008. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a simple premise. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of simple if you're from India. There's this lunch service. Yes. Where you can basically just get people.
It's called the Double Wallace.
Yeah, it's a very confusing system.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Even on their Wikipedia page, they said it's a very complex. And I think it's confusing just because there's no restrictions or anything. Anyone's doing it. You can literally pay someone to make a meal out of their home, and they'll just make you lunch every day. Not a cook, just some lady. I guess you can get anyone. Yeah. And she'll just cook it up for you. And then you have this outside service. System. It is very unique and kind of cool. It would be cool if you could get a homemade meal at lunch. If it happened in the United States, it would be fucking $30.
Of course it would.
It'd be way too expensive.
And then the delivery fee for another 10. But it is cool in India because it also supplements jobs as well.
Yeah.
For all these people, like bringing the lunch back and forth every day.
And I say there's no restriction, but that's the thing that ruins it in America is you couldn't do it because there's too many fucking restrictions.
Way too many here.
Everyone would have to be
a food handler's card. You got to go through extensive training.
Everyone's kitchen would, but it's probably for the best. But everyone's kitchen would have to go through, the check and whatnot to have. You can't do it, but it would be cool to have a homemade meal instead of having, because the only thing we could have delivered is fast food or anything like that. So it would be cool. So basically, this woman who I can't remember. Her name is Kimrat Kaur. I don't know if we've seen her on other things. She's a great actress. She plays Illa. Yeah. She's fucking great. But she starts making her lunch for her husband. For
what she thinks is her husband.
Crisscross, Irfan Khan starts getting it. He's like a accountant.
A widower too, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's really cool because it shows these two characters at two different points in their lives, but they're both at a crossroads in their life.
Yeah.
Irfan Khan, he's about to go retirement.
He's socially distant from everyone, and not because of the virus, but just because he is distancing himself. Yeah,
so because he's pre-corona.
Yeah, he's distancing himself from anyone. He doesn't really care to have any relationships, and we see that when he goes home.
And that's for a few reasons. He's a widower, but also he's older. He's retiring, and when you get older, you see the world starts changing more rapidly, and that's kind of the sense you get. He's at a crossroads where he looks like the world is kind of leaving him behind.
Yes.
And then she's at a crossroads. She's much younger than him, probably like 30 years younger. But she's like newish married, past the honeymoon stage, obviously.
Yeah.
They have a young daughter, but she's at the point where it's past the honeymoon stage, and now she's unhappy with her marriage.
Well, and they show that so well, like with the script writing as well, because she's at home and she's talking to her husband. She's like, hey, trying to get him to show any sort of sense of attention to her at all. She's trying to have conversation with him. He's not paying attention. He's packing. And then she alludes to the fact that she would like another child for the daughter. To have a sibling to grow up. He doesn't even bat an eye at it and is like, no, not going to happen. Packing a suitcase or whatever. And you see that there's so much distance between those two.
Oh, yeah.
That this man just expects her to cook and clean and shut up when he gets home.
Well, and they're on two different pages for sure.
Yeah, not even not in like an abusive way, just in a way that like he expects these things from her, but he doesn't expect to give her anything in return.
And they're on two different pages where you get the feeling that she just wants a kid to possibly save her marriage. Mm-hmm. She just wants a kid, and then he's kind of looking for almost, I don't want to say a way out, because I don't think divorce is real big in India. Yeah. But I mean, he wants to be as distant as possible with still coming home and having meals and whatnot.
Right. And getting all the benefits of it while not actually
but he doesn't want to be any more tied down than he already needs to. One kid is already hard enough. You got to fucking take that kid to the park once a month. There's a birthday once a year. You got to...
Tough duties as a father. You got to pretend to care about this child.
Yeah, every 30 days you got to hug her or something. It's tough. While the mom is doing constant work.
Everything around the house, cooking, cleaning.
This guy, he's in over his head.
Oh God.
But that's what happens. She's cooking lunch for her husband, and she's a great cook. Mm-hmm. And it's a very complex story because she's very unhappy in her marriage, and Irfan Khan was obviously someone that was extremely happy with his marriage.
Yes.
And it was cut short because of, his wife passing. Yeah. But this movie, it was very well written. Another movie where it did not delve in cliches too often. It didn't. There's very predictable things that I thought was going to happen, that I thought for sure the husband was going to end up finding out that she was making lunch for another person. But no, none of that shit happened.
Nope.
It kept it very grounded, and I appreciate that. Especially Indian films, we're not used to that kind of thing. This felt very, very grounded and realistic.
From start to finish, too. And again, like that, as you just brought up, I'll just second that. I was so happy because that's really where I thought the film was going to eventually go. Is, the husband was going to discover it. There's going to be a big blow up between the two. She was going to leave him.
They were going to run, her and Irfan Khan were going to run away together. It never got in. I love that. Yeah. I love that. But
it's realistic too. For like, if this were to actually happen, like, it's not always going to be a perfect ending. Like, that's not how life is. You know, you don't run off to this Buthon city, or I think it's something close to that.
Yeah, the name of the just another a city or a province that was cheaper than their province. They wanted
every to run one crore or every 1 rupee would turn into 5 rupees in this city.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. if there was an American
you could just go to a city where money is. We got to go to countries. We got to go to other countries where it's worth more.
Imagine just going to the next state and being like, "Oh, my $1 US dollar is worth 5 here. Can I buy a house right now?"
Well, you would have 330 million people living in that one state.
Yeah, one state. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why the prices go up. So, I'm guessing there's a reason why people aren't living in that city to where the money's worth so much more. But we don't get to see that.
We do not, no.
But yeah, Irfan Khan, he's so good in this. He's very subdued. You can see the pain in his eyes. Mm-hmm. He's really just taking one day at a fucking time. But he's a guy that's kind of at the end, but he doesn't know what to do after. He's about to retire, but we never get a sense that he has a plan or anything. What you think at the start is he's just going to become like a recluse, just someone that goes into their home to wait death out, 20 years or whatever. But he gets just a little more taste of life once again, once she starts giving these meals. He's tasting good food for once. Mm-hmm. Wherever he's getting his lunch at before, wasn't cutting it. Because when he eats that first bite, you can see his eyes light up. Yeah. But then they start writing letters together, and both of them finally get a piece of the life that they kind of both wanted.
And I think for that character too, when we talk about, kind of finding life again, it wasn't just with her relationship. It was also with Nawazuddin Siddiqui's character, because he actually, when Nawazuddin first showed up, he was very rude, very short. Wanted nothing to do with this guy. But over the course of the film, we start to see a relationship build between these two, where Irfan Khan is kind of more of his mentor, and then they become friends. And then we find out a lot about Nawazuddin Siddiqui's character.
Well, Irfan Khan didn't want anything to do with Nawazuddin at first. That's what you said.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah, Irfan Khan's character wanted nothing to do with Nawazuddin. Yeah, because
he was this young, very annoying,
annoying intern who was going to learn from him. And
not only that, but you're fucking training the guy that's going to replace you.
Exactly, which is always a bad,
it's a tough situation for everyone. Yeah.
But then we start to find out Nawaz's character, a Saik or Shaik?
Yes,
something close to that.
I like that, yeah.
But I'll just say Nawaz. His character, we find out that he was an orphan and that he had no one. And I thought it was a beautiful moment between those two, because I didn't know how Irfan Khan was going to react to that. Yeah. His character, when he's like, "Hey, can you be in my wedding, because I have no one to represent
me." It was so nice. And Irfan Khan doing it and being there. And that was towards the end. It was really nice.
And even the scooter jokes were a lot of, those were funny too.
It was like, if you believe in it, it was like destiny that all of these 3 people came into each other's lives when they kind of all needed it most, But it was like it's a catch-22 or catch-2020. Trying to get that coin.
Get that trending. Here, I'll start it on Twitter.
But yeah, it was just it's a catch-22 because Irfan and Illa, they're perfect each other, but it was like a forbidden love because he was so much older. It was just never going to work out. And you knew that the entire time. But for just these moments between the letters, they both got a little sense of what they wanted out of life or what they used to have. Yep. But yeah, and it was perfect for Nawaz to come in because he needed someone as well. He needed a mentor. You could tell because he was all over the place. He said he had a bunch of other jobs.
Think about growing up as an orphan too. You have no mentor. You have no one to look up to.
Yeah. So it was just perfect timing for him. But again, it was bittersweet because he was leaving. So it was like he only got these last 30 days with this guy that if he found way early on, it would have been a father-son relationship. It would have been great. But it was just, the whole thing was bittersweet. And you knew right from almost the start that the writing was so good that it wasn't going to end how you wanted it to end. But that's great. That's what I love about it, because that's not how life works out.
It's not.
It's not a fairy tale.
No. And I love movies like that too, because it's so much more realistic. And yes, you don't go away with necessarily the most happy feeling in the world, but you do walk away from the film with an understanding.
Yeah, and And you feel like these characters are at a better place than what they were when we started out.
Even if it didn't end in the happiest of notes.
Just going through that journey made them better people and, gave them a little more out of life for all of them. But yeah, I loved when Nawaz would come in every day with his banana or 2 bananas and 1 to exchange for food. And at first, Irfan was not happy about that. What the fuck? But it got to a point where they became so comfortable with each other that he would just sit down and immediately start going through his food. He'd grab the bread and shit like that.
They started eating together.
Yeah, it was nice. Mm-hmm. It was cool. It was cool to see these 2 huge actors together too on screen. Another
thing that I really appreciated about this movie is I thought the runtime was super appropriate for this.
Perfect.
Hour and 45 minutes.
Perfect runtime.
It really was.
Oh my God.
Like, honestly, I was not at any point bored with this film.
Well, if there was 4 more songs in it, they could have made it 2 hours and 30.
Yeah. And there was no dance numbers. There were nothing in this. It was just a drama film, hour 45, perfect runtime. I wasn't bored at all with this.
And I kind of have to think that is from was like a joint production from like 6 other countries.
Yes,
Germany,
India,
US,
United States, Germany, and France.
So I kind of it definitely felt like a more Western film than what we're used to seeing from India.
Sony Pictures Classics too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
help produce it. So or distribute it rather.
Yeah, they didn't. But yeah, they do a ton of Sony Pictures Classics. That's pretty much their indie label. Mm-hmm. And they do a ton of American stuff too. But yeah, I can't complain about the runtime at all.
No.
Very nice.
It's perfect.
It didn't overstay its welcome at all. I thought it ended in a very suitable manner. It ended not how you really wanted it to end, but how you thought maybe that it was the only real scenario was going to work out was them going separate ways. Yeah. But it's a tough, man. It was especially tough for Isla. Found her husband cheating on her on top of all this shit. And not only that, her dad died earlier.
Yeah.
It's a tough week.
A rough go for her.
Yeah, it was really tough. And the only thing that was really keeping her with
afloat, was
really because you really thought that at some point she might lose it.
Well, okay, and this is something that they alluded to as well in the writing, which was amazing.
But never just came out and said it.
No, but Irfan Khan, kind of finds out, I believe it was him anyway, he's in like a taxi and they're like, a woman and a child just jumped off the top of a building.
Yes, that's very tense.
Very tense because I remember sitting there and being like, "Oh my gosh!" And then they show as if it was her.
Yeah,
they show as if it was her and her daughter.
It kind of shows us what he's imagining.
Yeah,
and it's a very well done fucking scene.
Very well done.
That showing her very dark too.
Super
showing her wake up the daughter, then lead her up the stairs,
and
then
blindfold.
Oh my. God,
and then step onto the ledge.
Yeah. And just having the forethought of blindfolding your kid because you know she's going to be scared as you push her off.
You kill her along with
heavy.
You. Super heavy, man.
Super heavy. Yeah, and he you could tell he had a mini freak out.
Oh, yeah. And understandably, too, man. Yeah. That's
could the driver could any sympathy at all?
He's like, yeah, whatever. They jump off every day.
Traffic.
Fuck this traffic.
I have the worst luck. I always get traffic.
The bodies off the concrete. Goodness gracious.
God, yeah.
This guy had no sympathy for anyone.
No sympathy at all.
Just another day in the life of a taxi driver, I guess.
These poor taxi drivers.
God, miserable lives, it sounds like.
Miserable. Yeah. Pick a new profession. I gotta say.
If you're that miserable,
I gotta say,
find something else.
What are you doing it for?
I don't know. It's definitely not for the money.
But yeah, that was a really fucking good scene.
It was.
That came later on too when they almost met as well, and it was that kind of made him agree to meeting her, and then.
And see, that was kind of a tug at your heartstrings too, because like you see him sitting there looking at her that whole time, and he couldn't go up. And
she's just waiting for him, just not ordering food. They never do that when you're waiting for someone in a movie.
Nope.
Fuck, dude, I'd be ordering food too, dude. I'd be getting apps.
If you're 10 minutes late, I'm getting some food. I'm probably getting a beer.
I don't care if you're my Juliet that we've been in writing letters for years, maybe locked away somewhere. I'm getting apps. I'm getting a drink going.
Hey. I wouldn't blame you for it.
Get some artichoke dip. I'm doing whatever I got to do. And then maybe I can wait a little longer. Yeah. I got a full belly.
Maybe watch the football game if they got it.
Who knows? I'll be there all day. And let's be honest, I could eat 2 meals. so she goes. That's the thing is they're always worried about, well, how awkward it's going to be. Fuck.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. We eat another meal. Or a dessert. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal at all.
But they always are, no, I can't.
No, I'm just going to sit here and hold up your business. I'm not going to order any food. It's
so depressing.
Super depressing.
You can pick someone out
when they're sitting alone and refusing to eat for an hour. You're like, that guy's waiting for someone. He must have got stood up.
Yep.
Or she got stood up.
Very sad. But all joking aside, it was well shot to where you thought they were going to meet.
Yeah, I did throughout the whole film. I was like, for sure they're going to meet. For sure they're going to ride off into the sunset. Yeah. They're going to be happy. And I would have been okay with that. But I like this ending a lot more.
But it's just, you can just imagine that, maybe she didn't want it romantically. This is a woman that just needed anyone at this point.
When she just needed out of her situation.
Absolutely.
It was not
she couldn't
situation.
find help in her mom. No. Her mom, after her dad died, the mom goes, bad marriage. I mean, and
that was brutal.
It gave more weight.
I was sick of him.
It gave more weight to the situation that she's in because she's following exactly in the mom's footsteps.
Yeah.
At this point, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, or I'm gonna wind up exactly like my mom.
My mom.
Unhappy, and then the only day that you're happy is the day your husband dies.
Brutal.
It's very brutal.
That's heavy, man.
That's why I'm not so upset about divorce.
Yeah, no, I think if it's not working out.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? Don't force yourself.
Your whole life.
Don't go 40 years of hating this guy and just hoping one day he's gonna slip down the stairs.
It's not the life I want to live.
Break his fucking neck. Yeah, no, I don't want to either. But it did a very good job of showing that kind of.
It did.
That's a life that so many people do, just because it's easier. It's easier just to go through when really it's not easier. The easiest thing would do, sign some fucking papers.
Get out of that situation.
Go to Busan or whatever the other town they want to go to where your money's worth 5 times as much. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Run off with an older man. 40-year-old guy. Who cares? Irfan Khan. I don't care if he's 80.
I don't care. It's Irfan Khan. I'm going to follow him.
I'm following wherever he goes. But yeah, it did a really good job. Some of the best writing that I've seen
out of India.
A lot of them. Besides like Jallikattu.
Jallikattu's incredible.
But it's right up there with that in my mind. 2 very different films, obviously.
Extremely different. Yeah.
Not a bull at all in this one, rampaging through a town, which is one thing
Mumbai.
It's one thing I thought they could have used.
They could
have
used
used more bull. A little more bull. But yeah, it's definitely one of the best films, at least in my opinion, that we have seen.
I would have to strongly agree with
Loved it. If you're still watching this to this point, recommend more films like this for us.
One. Yeah. Yes, please.
But and just to have Irfan Khan and Nawazuddin Siddiqui on screen together.
Great.
I can't believe it's taken us this long, honestly.
I know. It's a travesty in a lot of ways.
But yeah, awesome.
I want to talk about the budget for this film real quick. It was the budget of this was 22 crore back in 2013, which shakes out to about $3.1 million. At the box office, it made over 100 crore, which is about $17.24 million.
Did it
so
good?
It made its money, but rightfully so. It deserved to.
I can't imagine, and maybe I'm wrong in this being just a straight up Indian production, so maybe they couldn't, but I can't imagine there was a film in 2013 that was better than this one for India's choice for the Oscars.
Well, I guess there was a little controversy on that.
Oh.
Yeah. So
my ears are open.
Oscar selection controversy. The Lunchbox was considered by many people throughout the year to be the lock-in as India's selection of the 86th Academy Awards Best Foreign Film category, with many critics enthusiastically praising it and voting it to be represented in the film. Director Karan Johar also put this support behind the film, saying all kinds of audience can connect with this film, and yet within the parameters of love story, it is completely unusual. However, the selection committee of the Film Federation of India deliberated on September 17, 2013, and decided to send the Garrotti film The Good Road instead. This decision sparked outrage from many supporters of the Lunchbox, including its cast and crew.
Wow. Well, we haven't seen The Good Road, so we can't speak. Good Road might be fantastic.
And Anurag Kashyap quickly took to Twitter to express his disgust, saying, quote,
he's involved in everything.
Well, he is the producer of this film.
Every film, I think he produces every film. Every film that comes out that has any kind of, that's good at all from India, he has his fucking hands in. So, and he's very vocal about it.
Yeah. I'll just give you the quote, and then we'll stop on this. But, and quote, I don't know who the Federation is, but it goes to show...
Not the Federation.
I know. But it goes to show the complete lack of understanding to make films that can travel across borders. He's got a strong case.
He does.
But I haven't seen The Good Road.
Man of few words, but very powerful and passionate.
He later deleted both his Twitter and Facebook accounts.
Okay, maybe he regretted it.
Probably got a little backlash.
I think the Federation got wind.
The Federation, don't fuck with the Federation.
I just imagine just Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah,
this big dark.
They're all just sitting on a council. They're just like, we are the Indians, or they're the India Federation.
Oscar, yeah.
Film Federation of India, nope. Thumbs down.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, this film, I really do think it would. I can't remember the films, obviously, that were in 2013, but this film would have been up there for best foreign. For sure. Yeah. I think India always seems to be shooting itself in the foot when it comes to
Oscar selection. Except this year, Jalika 2.
Yeah, finally, which is odd because it's 4 years old.
Whatever. Yeah. It deserves to win.
Well, I hope the Oscars don't get wind that it came out 3 years ago. I'm like, no, you can't. You can't just randomly
submit this.
But yeah, holy shit! If that doesn't win, you know you're going to be hearing about Anurag Kashyap talking. Not even his film.
Burn it down. That's what I say. Burn the whole organization down. If Jalika 2 doesn't win, the Federation. Well, hey, those are fighting words.
You can't stop the Federation.
I'm not trying to fight the Federation.
Too powerful.
Right.
Too powerful.
Yeah.
But I thought that quote was perfect. Not the Anurag Kashyap, but the quote before about. Just how different this film is for a romance film. It's not a romance, it's a drama, but it's romantic. But you can't call it a romance film because the main characters never physically meet. Nope. So it's very, very different.
In a lot of ways, it's like a different... It kind of reminds me of En Masse in the sense that their relationship was always strictly platonic.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, they're in a romantic relationship in the sense that they're writing to each other, but they never physically meet. They never physically touch.
That's an extremely difficult task for a writer to be able to write a film where your two main characters never meet and still have the audience involved enough.
And still have chemistry. Yeah.
So this guy, it gives more to the weight that this should have been an Oscar.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Oh, man. Anurag Kashyap, he's got to be fucking just lit. There's been like 8 movies that he's vocally came out. Yeah.
He reminds me of Martin Scorsese of getting screwed over.
He really does because he knows a good movie from him. I mean, obviously, he knows a good film because every film that we watched and we loved, you'll go down the Wikipedia page and there'll be an Anurag Kashyap quote about how this film did not get enough praise for what it's worth. But good for him.
Yeah.
And he's right. He's right about making films that are universal for everyone. And that's kind of what you could tell is what he does. Because some of those Indian films that we watch, they're not universal. Not everyone could watch those films and enjoy them. Mm-hmm. But because a lot of Indian films are specifically made for Indian audiences. Right. But that's great filmmaking is made for everyone. And Anurag knows that. All right. Would you recommend?
Highly recommend The Lunchbox. This one has been recommended to us for months and months.
Yes.
I remember when we did the trailer reaction, I think there was like 150 comments. You have to review this. You have to review this. You have to review this. So I'm glad we finally were able to put this on.
I'm glad, dude. We should have done it much earlier.
Probably should have.
But I recommend it. It is on Netflix.
Yep.
Or no, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you have to rent it.
No, I didn't rent it.
Oh, shit. Are you serious? I rented this.
It was on Amazon Prime.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I spent $4 on this.
It's worth it.
Worth it.
Definitely worth it. But it is on Amazon Prime. So if you have that, but if you don't, you could spend the $3.99. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Alrighty, well, that is our review for the Lunchbox. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. If you want to find our podcast, you can find that in audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. We do movie reviews, television recaps, movie news. You guys know the deal. If you guys want to find our social media pages, you can find that, Have You Seen It Podcast. And if you want some Have You Seen It merch, you can find that link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.